This episode of Beyond the Tube is proudly sponsored by Spewy, the original waterproof, absorbent, and machine washable mat designed by Aussie parents for parents. From messy mealtimes to tube feeding spills, Spewy makes cleanups quicker, easier, and far less stressful.
Welcome back to Beyond the Tube. On today's episode, we have two very familiar faces to me. We have my wonderful kids, Keira and Asher, who are going to talk about what it's like to be a sibling of a child with additional medical needs and hopefully be able to give some tips to other families out there who have siblings of a child with medical needs or additional needs. They might have some things that could help those kids along their journey as well. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining. So obviously, when we found out we were going to have another baby, he was born through COVID. Everything started off pretty normal, right? He was feeding pretty okay to begin with. And then we started having those weird episodes where he was breathing funny at night. Remember that? Yeah. And from there, we had some issues with feeding him. I breastfed him and I had some issues and we got some help in and that kind of thing. And that kind of proved to be a little bit more challenging, but we got through it. And then he had some sleep studies done and we started to realize things were out of the normal parameters. At what point for you guys did you kind of realize life with Ezra was going to look a bit different or that things were different with him?
After the sleep studies, I think definitely that's when I started to realize the age. I was like, this doesn't feel like right. And after we saw the specialists and doctors and then it just kept progressing, that's when I realized that it's something bigger than I can control. It was a bit of a scary and daunting fact to come to terms with because I couldn't control it and I wanted to help him, but he was sick. We didn't know how to help him because he was so little and he couldn't tell us. I was waiting for answers and stuff at that time, and at that beginning of the journey, it was really just a lot of questioning and trying to figure out what was going on. And I just wanted to find an answer for him. I remember I used to look up on the internet of these symptoms and try to put together what he had and what was going on because I thought the doctors were missing something and I could find it and then I'd be able to discover what was wrong and save the day. I just wanted to make it feel better.
Probably about the same for me, just when he started all his sleep things, when he started going to all of those, the realization of this is out of the ordinary. This isn't a normal thing, really. It kind of the realization started to sink in then.
Probably for all of us, it's similar around that time. What are some of the biggest challenges or changes that occur in our day-to-day life that you've had to adapt to and get used to and that kind of thing?
I think definitely one thing that took forever for me to adapt to was with the tube originally.
With the NG tube?
Yeah, with the NG. I just felt there was just something wrong and it kind of made me feel really uncomfortable originally, which was a really sad thing. I felt uncomfortable around my little brother because he had something different, but then it just took me a while to adjust and then after I got used to it, I think now it's just normal and I still see little kids and I'm like, why don't they have NG tubes or buttons? And I am cautious of the button with other kids. So then I'm like, oh wait, they don't have one. It's funny how I've become so adjusted and used to it from how I used to be when I was absolutely very uncomfortable with it. So, it takes a lot of time, but it's just a changing thing and you can't really be prepared, so you just got to let it be and be ready for the unexpected pretty much because anything can happen with a Tubie-Kid. Day-to-day life looks so different every day because it's something new, but it's pretty similar. Always have the feed or have something to do with the button, but some nights might look different and some mornings might look a little bit different to the next, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool he has the button.
Asher, I'm going to throw the next question to you. When Ezra has to go to hospital for surgeries or, early on when we had to keep going to the hospital for NG tube changes or when we were getting used to that, how did that make you feel and what practical support could you offer to other kids that might be in that same situation?
It was definitely upsetting. Seeing him get the NG tube changed was quite a sad thing to see because seeing him get it put in, he was crying so much. It was quite upsetting. But if there was any real advice I could give to anyone out there who is a brother to a child with an NG tube or ME tubes, just be there for him. He may not understand what you're doing or what's going on to a point, but just try and be there for him, support him, and help him through it, because obviously it wouldn't be an easy thing for a child or a person at any age, for a fact, to go through. So try and be there whenever he wants someone and just help him and just be the best person you could.
What are some of the things that you've done in the past with Ezra in sort of preparing him? I mean, Ezra's going, when this episode goes to air this Thursday, we will probably be in hospital with Ezra for surgery number 7. Yes, that's number 7. You've often spent time with Ezra leading up to surgeries, as has Keira, but you've actually come with me on surgery days. What are some of the things that you've done with Ezra to help him prepare for being in hospital and going into surgery?
Many different things you can do. I just try to help him be as calm as possible, just to know that everyone at some point most likely would go through a surgery of some sorts. Just try to make him as calm and as relaxed possible going into it and before it, just calming him down, basically.
Talking to him about it?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Just calming him down, making him know it's okay, you're in good hands. The doctors are very good people to trust and you'll be okay.
Yeah, which is hard when you're 2, 3, almost 4 years old to translate that. I often think it's easier for a sibling who has more recently been a small child to be able to relay that information. Asher himself has had a couple of surgeries too, older than at Ezra's age, but does know what it's like to go under anesthesia and knows what it's like to be in a hospital environment, those kinds of things. So he has his own first-hand experience to be able to talk that through with Ezra, which I think is comforting for him because you can relate, right?
Even if he doesn't understand what you're saying, it's how you act towards him and your body language.
Yeah, and just being understanding and being there. And I think we've all made a really big point of allowing him to feel however he wants to feel and not discounting that. If he feels scared, that's okay. If he feels nervous, that's okay. If he feels a bit silly or like he's acting a bit out of character, that's normal too, and we accept that, don't we? We don't force him to accept that what he's going to be going through is, oh, it's fine. It's totally normal. Like, you'll be fine. It's okay. You don't need to cry. You don't need to be upset, do we? We very much allow him to feel the way he needs to, which I think helps, maybe.
Yeah, I think it helps.
Yeah.
Knowing he can be how we feel.
Back with Keira and Asher in just a moment. I want to throw to a wonderful segment I've got planned for you today with 2 huge advocates of Beyond the Tube podcast. I've got Nikki and Tash here with me from Coasties Mag, and I'd really love you guys to talk about how Coasties Mag started and what it's like running your own small business.
We bought the business 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it had been started prior to that. We took it over and we just love everything it stands for. The values that it is exactly the same values that we have, supporting local and just being a part of our communities.
That's why the mag was started like right in the height of the pandemic, and it was all about supporting local and helping small business on the coast during that time. To be able to continue flying that flag has been a real honour, and every day we pinch ourselves going like,
What are we doing?
First of all, what are we doing?
Because that's real.
Yeah, because we actually bought it on a whim. Tash reached
Like a message, we should buy this.
over DMs, and I was like, we should. And then 3 weeks later, we'd bought the mag.
There's so many challenges with running small businesses, and because we work with small businesses day in, day out, we know the challenges. You're often pulling your hair out going, what I'll be doing? It's always just one foot in front of the other.
We get to do this as our job. We're so lucky with everything that we do that we have an amazing community around us that is so supportive and loving and kind and has our back. And we get to showcase the best of our region, like whether it's eating out at a beautiful spot for lunch or it's sharing people's stories, artwork.
It's like what you're doing, being able to
that's
support
it.
like events and charity. There's so many things happening in our community, and we just have the opportunity to lean into that and to celebrate all of those things, which is it's pretty cool.
You don't take enough credit for how wonderful you both are and the time and the effort that goes into it, and the fact that you're both passionate coasties yourselves. I think that has a lot to do with it.
We don't give ourselves credit because we love what we do and we feel lucky to be doing it. Maybe we should give ourselves a little bit more credit.
Absolutely. Margaritas tonight. What's it like running print media in 2025? Is that difficult?
Wow. Print media is actually the easiest thing that we do.
Yeah. When we bought the business, they weren't doing the print. It was digital, which is our background.
right.
Like we have a pretty strong background in that digital side. So we were fine with that. So we thought. Then when we bought it, we were inundated with inquiry. Like, when are you bringing back the print? And we're like, print? What?
What do you mean?
And then we're like, sure, we'll bring it back. And just made a decision like we do. And then we were like, shit, we have to do a magazine now. It was a challenge for sure, but we've got our head around it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Nikki can design stuff.
We just picked a date. I was in South Africa for the month before
Oh.
our print deadline. I came back and Tash was like, well, I don't know if it looks that good. And I opened up the screen and I was just like, what is this? I do have a bit of a knack for design. I make a mag look like a mag.
Thankfully, Nikki came back from her little holiday jaunt and fixed it because, but looking back, how far we've come with the print and what we've learned along the way, we're teaching ourselves, teaching each other. We've learned a lot, and look at it, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Here it is. Have to keep your eyes peeled, local coasties.
Yeah, absolutely.
What tips do you have for people who are starting, a small business?
Stay with it. It's hard work. I think a lot of people go into business with the idea that because they've got a passion for something that's just going to translate into business. And unfortunately, you learn along the way that no, there's a lot of other layers and a lot of things that you need to do when you are a small business owner. You wear every single hat and you still have those hats at home as well, right? Like, we are mothers, we are wives, we are friends. We've got all these other hats that we wear as well. We step into business and you're an accountant and you're a designer. You've got all these hats that you have to wear. People don't realize that. They've got their passion. They want to do it, but there's things outside of that. Stick with it. You will learn, but you have to put in the hard yards.
In social media, there's like, build your business in 12 months or 7 figures in 3 seconds flat.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. It should just happen instantly. But you really do have to work at, marketing your business, what your sales plan is. You really do need to have an idea of a plan where you can generate revenue. I say plan loosely because, we've just spoken about buying a business on a whim and kind of figuring it out as revenue comes from ad sales. And I think a lot of people shy away from sales, but really sales and marketing is what brings you in your revenue. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're, selling a service or whatever it is, often people don't really put the energy and effort into that side of it.
Something that we've done really well is we're very passionate about supporting local businesses. We support businesses beyond sales and marketing. We support them in those next steps as well. Everything we do comes from that value of let's support people. And that has, done very well for us. And I think if people can stick to that value line and know what their why is.
What your purpose is.
Your purpose and
our purpose is very strong.
It's been very clear from the get-go. We haven't steered away from that ever.
Great advice for people to be able to actually translate into practical steps.
I think the other thing that has helped us is that Tash and I are just really real and raw, and we are very honest. There's a baby here, right? So, I think I think people can relate to us and sharing your story about why you started your business or, exactly what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
You have a story to share that can help other people. Being able to share who you are in a really authentic way is huge. And that is another massive thing that helps small business, especially in a community like ours where majority of, economy is made up with small businesses.
Central Coast is such a big area, which is positive and negative, I suppose, and particularly when you've got to distribute magazines, that makes it a little tricky. But small businesses have got quite a large market when they're looking at something that's coast specific, because there's a lot of people that live here and more people moving here all the time.
Concentrated audience. We stick to our values, and as much as we want to support every business, we're here for the Central Coast. That's the core of what we do.
It's also the thing that sets us apart from the other publications on the coast is that we are hyper local.
What is the best thing about running Coasties Mag?
Community.
Well, definitely, hands down.
Yeah. The people you meet, the stories you hear, the kindness that's out there, seeing people go from strength to strength.
Somebody comes to you with an idea and then watching it come to fruition and you're just like, yes, being able to support people from that idea phase right through to it being an actual thing. It's epic.
creates a lot of like pride about our region. You know, I feel
Yes.
really proud,
Yeah.
and I want other people to feel really proud.
What is the funniest thing that's ever happened since you've run the mag?
We've had a few. We've got some
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
Everything turns funny for us because we make a lot of errors.
We went to print
Mm-hmm.
and
This is
we
the
put
one.
out a new issue.
whole
So
bunch.
excited. Winter, another amazing local artist,
Beautiful.
custom did this artwork for us,
Mm.
and then a gorgeous photographer on the coast sent us DM and said, "I hope that hasn't gone to print yet." And we were like, "What?
Why?
Why?"
You don't like it? What? We love it. I'm just trying to save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and she was like, "There's a spelling error. There is a spelling error on the cover."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And
We didn't know. And she was like, "Don't you get a proofread?" You're like, "There's 4 of us that proofread this."
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
and nobody picked it up.
No one.
And to be fair, it's a hard one to find.
It is, yes.
It's the funniest part about that story is that we were being accused of it being a publicity stunt.
People were like, so smart. Yeah. So we put out a social post of us just being, you know, our silly
Yeah,
selves,
literally.
being like, huh, the faces you
This
pull.
looked like we worked out that this was
Yeah,
what happened.
we stopped.
Exactly what the social post said.
Literally, yeah.
I like I've seen it.
It was like one of our most liked and engaged upon posts.
I
of
can imagine
that.
why.
Our community is so amazing. Like I remember dropping mags in King Cumber. We love you so much. That's the best thing ever. Like we were just met with such love and grace and
Yeah.
kindness and hilarity. People just having a good old chuckle.
What's one thing that maybe coasties don't know about the Central Coast?
There's so many really big manufacturers or big,
Yeah.
like huge business. Some of the businesses that we were saying, they were like, wow, like, it was like right here in West Gosford or right here in Somersby. There's
Yeah.
so many incredible stories of people that have started something in their garage
Yeah.
or just
It's
had an idea.
grown.
That's the hidden gems of the Central Coast. is
Yes.
all the people doing amazing things. Throwback
Nice.
question
It's
to
back
you. How
Yes.
do you eat out like all these beautiful venues that we have? If you're wanting to take your Tubie somewhere, what happens there?
Well, he is always offered orally.
Yes.
So we generally just get a kid's meal that he 98% of the time doesn't eat.
Yep.
But we always offer so he feels included.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for us to tube feed him at the table.
Yep.
It's connected to his stomach, an extension tube that we connect. And then we use 60 ml syringes that are filled with pre-made blends. Usually I just blend.
I've seen it.
Recipes.
I've seen some of your
Yeah.
recipes. So you'll
Yeah.
have that pre-packed. You take it with
Yeah,
you.
just take it with me.
Yeah.
So it's like-
there are like prepackaged, like baby food.
Yeah.
Similar things that you would start at 4 months. It's that same kind of consistency.
Consistency,
So it's
better
really
pudding.
watery, like quite thin to moderately thin.
Yeah.
They come prepackaged. They look like baby food in a
Yeah.
pouch. Then we fill the syringes up on the go and then
Take them.
flush it with water at the end so
Yeah.
it doesn't get clogged or anything. It's not much different, really,
having-
to
yeah.
what you would do when
Yeah.
you're starting
Yeah. If you're like-
solids with
yeah.
baby. Same process. It's just
In a different way.
it just
And-
goes directly into the
Yeah.
dollars that you
Yeah.
know is wasted on a kid's meal.
He wants to be part of it. He's
Yeah.
there, but because as I said, his aversion isn't oral. He wants it. The want is there. He gets hungry. All those feelings,
Yeah.
something, stomach.
What
If
if
I
he-
knew, boy, I'd be rich. See, maybe I will make a few million.
Yeah.
I think you've got a better chance than we do.
If you haven't read the magazine, there's a lot of good stuff now. Even if you're not coasties, for our non-coasties, this is a great publication to follow on socials. If you can't get your hands on the physical
Oh yeah.
mag, you
Yeah.
can jump online on socials.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got Facebook, Instagram,
And Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Website. Our
Because-
website's a Bible of content.
See, lots of people would plan to come to the coast on holidays, or maybe the people looking to move. This will give you really good insight into our region, what we have available, where you can eat, where you can stay, what to do, all the cool things we can do here. I know what you guys do on the radio as well on a Friday, leading up
Yes.
to the weekend, talking about what's coming up on the weekend. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're not local, there's still a really good reason.
Yeah, totally. We get
Yeah.
that feedback all the time as well. I've actually often met people out and about when I'm delivering mags or something, and they're like, "Oh my god, like that's how I found out about where we're sitting right now." And it's really nice to know that
Yes.
you're influencing people to try new venues and to support local businesses.
Definitely, like an insider locals guide for
Yes.
locals.
Our
Thank you very much
Yeah.
for being on the podcast, and we'll throw back to Keira and Asher now. Keira, I'm going to ask you this question because I know you've had some conversations with teachers and friends at school where you felt like you're overwhelmed with what's going on with Ezra, or it's been a day for surgery. He had surgery earlier and it's quite serious and big. What are some of the things that you've wished that school or teachers or your friends understood a bit more about Ezra's medical needs and how that impacts you?
Oh, yeah. I think one being people often go, oh, what's his diagnosis? And like jumping straight to a point of what's happening and they won't answer. One thing with Ezra's journey and his medical life is that it's forever changing. We don't have a diagnosis. So when people are, oh, so what's this surgery? Why is he going in for it? And asking 1,000 questions and I don't know them all, it's become really overwhelming. And it sometimes can make me think, well, what is wrong? And then look down a path of how is he going to come out of these surgeries? And it sometimes can look like I'm not able to cope and not be able to sit in class and having to leave sometimes, or it could just be I need my phone on my desk. I definitely find that my teachers have been really willing and are allowing to have my phone on my desk, especially with Ezra's in surgery. And a lot of the staff do know and are aware of Ezra's situation, and I think it's really important for a lot of people at my school, especially the whole, not all the staff, but definitely a connection of people to understand and know Ezra's situation and understand a bit about our family and the importance of us communicating with each other, because Ezra's situation changes frequently and it can be unpredictable, but it's just important for them to know and them to consider his age and that it's a lot when going under having a surgery or something. So I think definitely one thing that schools and teachers and peers being aware of how they handle the situation and how important it is to stay connected with what is going on and being in tune. I think definitely is a really important thing. And having a plan space just in case I need one, just to have a bit of a break from the day, because I'm just thinking a lot about Ez. So having that is really important as well.
That's really good advice, and to talk about that firsthand experience and knowing that you've got a support group at school as well, not just having friends, which is great support. Teachers that are understanding and can, assist you in that space is really important. I'm going to ask you both to answer this one. If another child has a brother or a sister who is medically complex, or they might have a tube, or it could be both, what advice was your number one piece of advice that you would give to that sibling to be able to help them cope or just feel like they're supported through this journey?
In my opinion, the best thing you can do is just treat them like a normal child, you know. I mean, as hard as that may be sometimes for you and your family, but just treat him like he's a normal person. Treat him as if you treat everyone else, you know. I mean, I don't know if this will happen or if it has happened for your kid or someone you know, but if they get tormented or teased about it, they might not want to talk about it, but knowing that I have some sense of being connected with everyone else around them in one is just pretty comforting. I would say Ezra would appreciate that. I think most kids would appreciate that. Would be my number one advice. Treat them like a normal person, you know.
Yeah. Treat them like they haven't got anything different.
That's really good, Ash. But I think as well, not isolating as well, because I'm so lucky with the preschool he goes to that the kids are so lovely and they love his button. But people can be so cruel, and I think it's important that they feel supported, especially by their family. So when going out, and if they have any type of tubes and medical equipment, it can be really awkward and uncomfortable. So having someone to surround them is really important, making them comfortable in any setting is really important. So I think it's really good, especially for siblings, to be aware of what their sibling feels comfortable with, what their limit is, and how they might rather conduct themselves when out in public or doing things home, keeping in mind the child's needs and what way to best work with that child and to support them. Support is so important for sick kids, and making sure they feel comfortable first, because I think it becomes very scary and daunting when going out to the world, and opinions are everywhere. So you've got to be aware of how you can kind of shelter them, especially when they're so young, they're so vulnerable. So making sure Ezra doesn't feel like he's different. I think he doesn't. He has so many people that have made sure that he feels love and he is. His indifferences and what make him so unique and loved, and that he doesn't stand out. He's a happy kid, and that all that matters is that he's happy.
Yeah, I agree. One more thing to close with, and we'll wrap it up. What do you love most about being Ezra's sister and brother?
There is a lot of things that is just so brilliant about him, but I think just his uniqueness, even with all he's been through and surgeries, everything he's been through, he's so happy and he's so cheerful most of the time, and he's so positive on that front foot, but really just being very happy and positive all the time. It's nice sometimes, like if we're feeling down, he'll do something silly or something, brighten your day up. He has all the right, and so many other children would too, to just be down in the depths. But it's just nice to see them so positive all the time. Just really lift him up.
I find that no matter how hard and rough things may be, like there's actually a couple of times that I've gone and done like a tubie change with him at the hospital or something like that. He's upset in the moment, but afterwards he's back to his cheerful self and he's not dwelling. I think that's such an inspiring thing because he just doesn't really care. Like he does, but
He moves on.
he moves on, and he's just like, life goes on. He's like, my world's not going to end because I'm getting a tube change. He's a normal toddler, but when it comes like the big things like going for surgeries and that, he's just like, whatever. If someone like me, I'm just like, what? That's terrifying. Like, that's so scary. But he's so like relaxed, and I think that's so important. Like skill he has, he just keeps going, and I think that's so important and inspiring to keep going no matter what. He's literally 3, nearly 4 years old, and
Gets on with it.
Yeah, he does. So
Just gets on with it.
that's really important.
Thanks for your insight, guys. It's really important insight for those that have potentially younger siblings. Obviously, with Keira and Asher, they were a lot older when Ezra was born, and these issues have been ongoing for Ezra basically since he was born. It's nice to hear from older siblings that have quite strong perspective on what's going on, and hopefully give you some practical tips and practical advice that might help your kids as well. So if you enjoyed this episode, thanks guys for joining us. Until the next time, we'll see you soon.
A big thank you to Spewy for supporting this episode. Head to their Instagram page at SpewyAU to see their full range. And as a Beyond the Tube listener, you'll get 15% off your next purchase with the code BEYOND. A big thanks again to Spewy for supporting our Tubie community.